farming tool belts, how to figure out which seeds to crush, or actually which individual foods, fruits, vegetables to crush to get seeds, to replant, planting, and harvesting. So I'm doing multiple videos on the same day, so unfortunately the farm hasn't changed any, but here we go. The next thing we're going to talk about, which is a real skill gainer for new people, is mining. Now in your inventory you're going to find there's a pick. I'm going to go ahead and use the tool belt feature I showed you last time. Put the pick over here. That way I don't have to open up my inventory all the time. And I'm going to save it. Now, in Worm, there are two different worlds. You have the underground world and you have the above ground world. The underground world does not work the same at all. Well, it does in some ways mathematically, but not the same way as up here. Up here you have these boxes which have these sides and borders which you can use to determine heights, and you can right click on them and do all kinds of other stuff. Underground, and not so much. Underground, something that I have to explain, which is kind of hard to explain, is that mining in this game is two-dimensional, meaning that when you're looking at individual tiles going up, for instance like this one, this cave wall is the same lead vein all the way up to the top and all the way down to the bottom to the water level. So if you mine out this lead vein, basically what you're doing is you're removing the ability for anybody else to do anything else with that tile above it or below it. It's rendered as three-dimensional, but it is not. So the first thing you would do in order to do mining is you would have to find exposed rock. Now I'm taking you into a mine that's already been opened up, so what I'm going to try to do here, I don't know if we have any near us or not. We'll just go under the assumption that we don't. So under this dirt, everywhere under this dirt is rock. No matter what, you're going to find it. Also underneath all of this is what's called a water table. So if you dig the dirt down and if you mine the rock down, you're always going to hit water no matter what. And the water table on this server and all servers is all set at a certain level. So no matter how far you mine down, you're never going to go beyond water. Now, as far as how high you can mine, well, this map has some incredible mountains. I mean, I'll just show you some of them. I mean, you can mine all the way up to the top of that sucker. Yeah, or that one, and there's a whole gab more headed north. So, you can make your deed on top of a mountain if you want. You can level out mountainsides. It's a lot of work, but you can do it. You can stand upon the top of your princess kingdom or whatever you want to do. Now, if you're in a dirt place, though, in order to find rock to mine into, you're going to have to dig the dirt down. So some of this I actually added back in, but what we did was we took the dirt out of here and put it over here so that this tile here could be exposed in order to mine. Now in order to mine into a rock tile, the tiles around it also have to be rock tiles. So what you have to do is dig the dirt on each four of these corners so that it all disappears and so that it shows nothing but rock. And what it'll do when it shows nothing but rock, because this is a mine door that keeps on disappearing and appearing on us. Let's see, okay. So it'll look just like that. That's exactly what a rock tile will look like. And you can create what's called a mine door. Hang on a moment. Okay, sorry about that, real life. But anyways. So this is what it'll look like. It'll look like this rock. Now what you do is when you want to go into the side of a hill, you activate your axe, you right click on a rock, and this is a door, so I can't do it on here. And I wish I had another rock tile to work with. But what you would do is you would right click on it and it would give you the option here. It says mining. Instead of mining, it would give you the option to tunnel. So what you do is you right click on a rock tile and you keep on left clicking on the tunnel. And you keep on tunneling until it pops through. And when it pops through, this one, there would have been a wall here, just the slope showing, and a solid wall. Now, With mining, you can also reinforce this. It's called support beams, which I won't get into those yet. But you can support your mine so that these will not collapse. So if you have support beams up against these square sections of the wall, then those will never collapse. They'll always be up. If you have unsupported parts of your mine, like this, there is a percentage chance, I don't know what it is, it's pretty small though, that these individual tiles that are open here, so there's a chance that this will collapse. I'm going to tell you right now, if you're standing underneath it, or your wagon's underneath it, or all your buddies are underneath it, or you've got a bulk storage bin underneath it, when it collapses, everything dies. It's just a big squish. There's no sound in a mine when you die. You don't even get the scream. Just, I've never had it happen to me. I've talked to people that have had it. I've had them collapse behind me. I'd be like talking to somebody, poof, look behind me, and there's a mine tile collapse. So, if you're planning on being in somewhere for a long time, it's a good idea. In fact, with this deed, because it's brand new, we haven't supported it all yet, but we will support it once we get it all figured out. Now, as you can tell with mining, you can go down, and if you can go down, you can go up. You can mine the floor to make it go down. Do not suggest it. You can mine the ceiling to make it go up. And just as an example here, because mining a ceiling doesn't hurt anything, I'm just going to right click here and mine. Mining has a timer for mining a ceiling, and the timer for mining a floor are slower timers, or sorry, faster timers than mining forward. So that was 13.5 seconds. Let's see what this one is here. That's 20. So yeah, if you're mining a ceiling, I'm not going to mine a floor, but the point is that mining ceilings and mining floors are faster than mining straight in. And when mining straight in, this average piece of just regular rock wall, must be a conspiracy theory to interrupt my video today. Where was I? Okay, so on average, a rock section here that you mine out is going to have between 50 and 55 hits. So most of what you do, all the way up to about skill level 40, 45, mining, best skill gain for you is mining out rock tiles. Occasionally though, when you're mining and running around and having fun, mining things up, and this got mined down, we're trying to fix it. But just as a deal to show you, I have the squares in here, but I don't have the borders. So my borders that I don't have, which usually I can look at to tell me how many slopes deep it is, maximum slope. So maximum differentiation between the bottom and the top of the mine is 255. So you can be 255 high, whereas outside it's 300 for dirt. I can't tell what it is. So it's kind of hard to keep track of it. What I can tell you though is that for every just regular down action, so if I'm here and I just mine, and I mine downwards, or I mine upwards, I can tell you that each one of those, the slope here will be 20. And 20 is normally considered the maximum slope you want for traversing around either outside or inside, because after that you start to lose speed, quite a bit of speed, going up and down. Like for instance here, you'll notice I'm only going 8.59 up the slope. Notice this is 8.39. So these slopes will probably differ a little bit. But the slope in your mine is important for getting around in your mine. So you don't want to get too deep a slope. You can push the ceiling out as much as you want. You're just getting more rock, a faster mining rate, and you're getting skills for doing it. Now just to let you know, one thing I haven't mentioned too much in this game is the longer the timer is in a game, down here, this means that you get more skill gain. So it's nice to get up in skills and be able to mine faster. You just have to realize that the faster you mine, the less your skill gains are going to be. Now there are other things that you can equip on a weapon, or you can equip on a tool to help you gain back more skill gain when you're doing it. And this is for farming as well. But for mining, When you initially start out, you got a 20-second timer. And there's nothing you're going to put on a tool that's going to help that until you get to about level 35 to 40. So for the first 35 to 40 levels of mining, all you do is just queue up 3 mining actions, go read a book. Or chat. That's what I do. Now, occasionally you'll find veins. This is an iron vein. Now, there is a skill in the game called prospecting, which you see here, prospecting. Prospecting is a skill that when you get to level 20 prospecting, it'll tell you what it is. So if it's a good vein, a bad vein, or whatever. Right now, it'll just tell me I have combined iron ore here because I've only got a prospecting of 1.7. But if it gets your prospecting up to 20, it'll tell you what kind of a vein it is, if it's a good, very good, or bad quality. If you get it up to level 60, level 60 will tell you, let me remember here, and you can wiki this as well. Level 60 will give you a rough understanding of how many mining actions you have left. So it'll come up with a message here that'll say, this tile has many weeks left in it. And then you go look in wiki under mining and look up many weeks, and that'll tell you that it has 5,000 hits left in the tile. When you get up to prospecting 90, it'll just tell you. So you'll right click it, you'll prospect it, it'll tell you the type, the quality, and how many hits it has left. So, but 90 is kind of rough to get, so I wouldn't push for that right off the bat. So you'll mine with your mines. You'll run into all kinds of different ore tiles. Also, you'll be running around with these bulk storage bins because this is what holds the shards. These rock shards are used then to create bricks, which build buildings. Your iron here is used to create tools, nails, ribbons, a whole list that's on wiki. Rock salt here, for instance, you can mine this rock salt and you can mill it to create regular salt in order to use for cooking. So there's a lot of different things that go on with mining. And again, when you're mining, if you're just doing regular mining in your mine, just do a regular straight mining action. This will provide you a straight across mine. But there's a little trick to the trade here that we found out. It turns out that on Xanadu, that if you just do the regular mining action and go straight across, that for some unknown reason, see the slope going down here? The Xanadu likes to push down. So you end up with a slight slope going down. So here's a trick for you. When you're mining in a mine and just doing regular stuff like this, what you'll do is you'll mine upwards. When you're done mining upwards, this tile will disappear. Sorry. This fact, you know what? I'm going to mine one of these out to show you what I'm talking about, but I'm not going to record the whole thing. So just give me a minute here. Let me mine one of these in the up position, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay. So I went and I got Spud, just to show you what he's doing here. Spud is mining up. So I'm not going to alt tab back and forth here, but Spud will continue mining up. And then when this breaks, after about 50 actions, I'll show you what an upslope looks like. Okay, so Spud did his mining, and as you can tell, when he quit mining, we ended up here with an upslope. Just to let you know, about 5 to 8 hits before the wall collapses, you will actually get an event notice here saying the wall is about to collapse. Now, we've mined this upslope. Why? Because if we keep on just mining straight ahead, we end up with a downslope or a hole in the floor, and that's kind of annoying. So, we've mined this upslope, so what we're going to do is we're going to flatten this tile right here, and then we're going to use what's called a level action, which will pull the top 2 corners of this tile down level to where we are. So we can then mine the next one up, level down, next one up, level down, and then that way we get a nice level mine, whatever we're dealing with. So on here, I have what's called an ability to flatten. So what I can do is I can flatten this tile, and what it'll do is pull from this corner or that corner or whichever corner it needs to do within a certain amount of time frame, and it'll flatten the tile out. So it'll pancake it. The floor is now flat. Now what's interesting though is that if I highlight over the floor, it doesn't tell me that it's flat. I just have to look at the event. Now that I'm here and I look at the event and see that the floor is now flat, I can right click on the slope and I can do what's called a level. You cannot level a slope in front of you unless you are standing on a flat slope, because it has to use this geometry, this level, this math for this tile in order for it to level down this tile. Also, it'll tell you how many minutes it's going to take to level it down. Leveling is not a fast action. What it is that every 5 seconds, I believe it will remove one rock shard and it'll level it down. As your skill goes up, it seems to be that your leveling action gets faster. Now, needless to say, you don't have enough stamina to get this all the way down. You don't have 10 minutes worth of stamina. So what will happen is that when this gets all the way down to 0, when your stamina runs out, it will stop the leveling process. It will not restart it, it will just stop it. So when it stops the leveling process, then you'll have to go back in and right click on it and level again. Again, this is not a fast process. Also, the skills that you get from leveling are not as much as the skills that you get from manually drilling in and mining somewhere. So I don't need to level this whole thing out for you to get the point. I can do that with Spud. So Spud will level it out later. But if you want a nice level mining floor, mine up on the tile and then level it down. Now if I do it on this tile, needless to say, there's nothing over here for it to say that it needs to be leveled down, so it'll have like a little bump in the corner. Just make sure that the tiles that you're working with are flattened and you're leveling. But let's say, for instance, that you accidentally dig a hole in the floor over here. Oh my goodness, let's do it. This is horrible. So I'm gonna dig a hole in my floor. So now everything is gonna be catawampus and wackadoo. Oh my goodness. All these new people playing the game and they're mining on my floor. I'm going to freak out. There's nothing I can do. Well, that's not true. There is a component in game called concrete. And what you can do is you can make the concrete. I won't go into it yet. And you can come over here and you can drop a concrete. And as long as this slope here does not exceed 40 between top and bottom, then you can dump concrete in there and you can flatten out your floor again. So nothing to worry about. So for mining, just to let you know again, it's just a continuous action to remove these different obstacles. You can mine iron ore, and then what you would do is when you get the iron ore rock shards, well, they're not rock shards, they're iron shards, but they say iron ore on them. Then what you do is you would take these individual shards, put them in a wagon, or carry them, although I don't suggest carrying because they weigh 20 kilograms each, so they're pretty heavy. But I'm going to go ahead and just mine one here, because from this video we're going to move over to blacksmithing. And of course I picked it up and got a little signal, and there we go. This is a good thing to remember, that when things are heavy, it encumbers you, which means it uses more stamina for you to move. And then again, look at your inventory, your total weight, look at your character screen, go over here and find out that my 43 kilograms is now over my 100% speed limit. I'm now at 75% speed. My total inventory is at 52 out of maximum of 136. Again, we'd like to thank you very much for logging into Worm and spending time with us today here with Spud and Wisdom's Forge. You guys have a great day.